push-up. So we're gonna put our hands like this. We're gonna go in and forward, and then we're gonna push the air out by doing a push-up. So in and forward. I'm gonna take out my excess until it catches, and then I'm gonna do a push-up to push the air out. And then I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm just gonna put my hands like so. I'm gonna catch this top skin, and I'm just gonna go in and forward. And then I'm gonna pull my excess up. And then I'm gonna push the air out, but I'm also gonna just push the canopy together. And I'm just gonna push my hands together. Push all my air out. Now, we took the fabric out down at the other end, and what it did is it brought it to this end, and it's right here. And so I'm just going to catch this thin layer of fabric, and I'm just going to gather it all into my hands, and I'm going to pull it all the way up to this point right here. And it creates this little pocket right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse that pocket. I'm going to put all this excess into that pocket. And I'm going to do this by taking my pinkies to catch the edge, and then I'm just going to roll it all in and under. And then I'm just going to take that pocket and roll it in and under. And then I'm going to catch it on the bottom with one of my hands. Now I'm just going to make sure all this extra fabric on the sides is all towards the middle. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this backwards in half one time, and then I'm going to roll it in half again. Remember, I want your hand a hand length back right here. So I'm going to find my halfway. I'm going to fold it in half backwards, and then I'm going to use this arm to just roll that back forwards. Now you can pull your hand out of here and just hold that in place. I put my knees on it to keep it there so I can let it go. I'm just going to kind of take all this and just kind of make sure it looks nice and neat. Just as long as I just want to be able to grab all of this and hold it all at one time. And I'm not gonna, this should have already been caught.
Okay.
But I'm essentially grabbing the handle, and I'm going to grab this connection point right here, and then I'm just going to push out with this hand, and it'll cock the pilot chute. Alright, so now I'm going to grab all of this in one hand, and then I'm going to get off the I'm going to just get right behind the edge of the bulk here, and I'm going to use my legs to push back and pull up with, so that I'm able to get this up off the ground, and I got access right here. I'm just going to take my bag, and I'm going to take these 4 grommets, I'm going to slide it all the way back as far as I can, and then I'm going to set my knee on one side. It doesn't matter which side, I use my right side. So I'm going to slide it all the way back, so you can come over to the right side. And then I'm going to take my knee and I'm going to put it right here on this bag. That way it doesn't come out from under my canopy. Now I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to put it on there. Now I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to use it as a bar and to hold the bag onto the canopy so far. This way I can let go of the canopy with this hand. It's still in position. And grab all of this corner, and I'm going to put the bag on my hand, not put my hand in the bag. So then I just pull this top part on. Sometimes you might find that you see how you don't see the tab right here,
Yeah.
but you can see it on this side. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab right here, just lightly, and I'm just going to kind of look for this which is right back here. Sometimes you might have to just move it a little bit. So now we're gonna grab it right here and we're gonna stand this up. Yep, stretch it out. Now I'm gonna fold this over so that it creates that fold. I can pull my hand out, and then I'm just gonna push this right down into the middle of it. All right, so now we can see we have our seam here and our seam here, nice and lined up. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my rubber band, and I always start with the stow in the middle closest to me. So I'm gonna catch my first stow. And
I think I gotta get out of here, bro. But appreciated the jumps, man. You gonna be up here tomorrow, next weekend?
Next weekend.
And I make my stows one finger, so you should be able to put one finger in the stow and remove it without causing any damage. So then I'll catch my second stow. And all my stows are generally one finger, so I keep small stows. Oh wow, hey, I don't think you're on a call. Okay. Now these 4 stows are called your locking stows.
Okay.
And I don't double stow my locking stows. The grommet there. If any of these rubber bands break, it's a pain in the butt to try and fix it because the container is not closed. So I don't double stow these, 1, so that they don't break, and 2, so that they're just doing their job and nothing more. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hold on to this stow as if I hadn't let it go. And I'm going to go ahead because I'm going to pull the container to me and I don't want to pull this stow out. So I'm just going to hold this stow in position and pull my line to me. And so basically I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to lay my hand on here so that my thumb is right here on this rubber band, or equal to this right here. And this is going to be the length of my first stow. So I'm going to take my hand out, and then my first stow is going to be like so. And I keep these small, and I do double stow these. I double wrap those, so it's going to be a small double wrap stow. I'm going to hold on to the whole of it right here. I'm going to bring this side over. Make sure again I do a small stow. Double wrap it. We're going to go back and forth. Double stow. And double stow. Alright, so now we have this much excess. This much excess is good because it gives you this much time for this thing to come out of the container. So it allows this much room for it to get out of your burble before it starts pulling these rubber bands.
Gotcha.
So I'm just going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to S-fold all this excess right here into my hands. Alright, and set this right inside. With all this excess still in my hand, I'm going to set this in here and I'm going to let it go so that all that excess pretty much falls right into place. Alright. So I'm going to take my riser and I'm going to set it in place. So I'll set it around here. Then I'm going to roll this whole arm underneath the container. Make sure this is all nice. See how it kind of lines up? And then I'm just going to fold this in and roll it out. You should be able to get it better for this side. Now sit right here and then. So I'm going to set it in place. I'm going to roll this all under. And then I'm just going to tuck this tab in and then roll it back out, and that locks it into place. pull your canopy out, and I'm gonna set it on my lap right here. And I'm gonna do this so that I can look at these lines and get them situated to a more appropriate state. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull all my lines tight to the container, to the bottom of the container right here. And then I'm gonna make sure everything's down at the bottom. And I'm gonna S-fold these across the bottom of the container here. Actually, I'm gonna figure 8 them right here inside. And then I'm gonna set your bag in. All right. Get my power tool in the closing loop. Do you have a power tool?
No, I got one.
Huh?
You do get one.
Yeah. All right. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate my bag 45 degrees so that it's just angled more that way, so that it's pointing in that direction. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my closing loop and I'm gonna pick up my reserve tray with it. Boom. I pick up my reserve tray as much as it'll go, and then I'm gonna let my bag settle into place with it. And that'll get my bag in there as far as it wants to be. I'm just gonna set my knee on top of here. This pushes the air out, and it also creates a crease in the middle, which takes up space in the container. So, I grab my bottom flap, and I push the air out while I pull, and I get as much out of the bottom loop as I can. And I'm gonna stick my knee on it just to hold it in place while I catch the top loop. And then I pull back towards me because you have more pull force towards you than you do away from you. I'm just gonna set my knee on here so that it still remains in place. And I'm just gonna check my window, make sure I have color in my window. There is color, you just can't really tell because it's really light. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay the pin under my knee on the opposite side here so that this bridle lays across the top. Oh, I forgot. So actually we're gonna do the secondary closing method. So we're gonna just let this bridle all come out the bottom right here, just like so, and I want the pin facing up towards me while we're doing it. So then we'll catch this next flap, and then we'll catch the last flap. And then we're gonna pin it. I always pull one side of my power tool underneath the pin, and it'll pop into place. And then this way, whenever you pull your power tool out, it pulls the power tool between the pin and the container instead of the pin and the closing loop, and it won't burn your closing loop as easily. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this excess that goes into the container and I'm gonna roll it behind the rest that goes to the pilot chute. And then I'm gonna just fold that under this flap right here. And I'm gonna tuck this bridle in all the way over to the edge right here, so that it's already in position for me. Alright. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay your pilot chute out so that the handle is flat across like this. So, I'm going to go straight down the edge, down the middle, and I'm going to make the middle meet. I'm going to take the excess bridle and I'm going to go up all the way to the handle and back down. And then I'm going to fold all of it in half again, the bridle and everything. And then I'm just going to S-fold the bridle here once. And then I'm going to fold it over. And then I'm going to fold this over again. And I'm going to fold that in thirds. Then I'm just going to make sure that I don't have all of this excess right here. So I'm just going to kind of gather it right here under my finger. So I'll pull it to the other side, and then I'm going to roll it under and catch it with the finger. And then I'm gonna stuff it in here.
Hey, D.
And I'm gonna hide the rest of this.
Oh.
And we're done.